Okay, today we are talking about why we as a company, Rise25, are looking to acquire 1 to 2 podcast companies in the next year. My guest today is my business partner, Dr. Jeremy Weisz. You know him from the Inspired Insider podcast, been podcasting for 15 years, an amazing podcaster. I'll tell you more about him in a second, so stay tuned.
Welcome to the Smart Business Revolution podcast, where we feature top entrepreneurs, business leaders, and thought leaders and ask them how they built key relationships to get where they are today. Now, let's get started with the show.
All right, welcome everyone. John Corkin here. I am the host of this show, and you know, if you've listened before to my past episodes, we are so fortunate we get to talk to smart CEOs, founders, and entrepreneurs of all kinds of companies, ranging from Netflix to Kinko's, Grubhub, YPO, EO, Activation Blizzard, Lending Tree, Redfin. Check out the archives. You can check out some of those previous episodes right there. And of course, this episode brought to you by Rise25, where we help B2B businesses to get clients, referrals, and strategic partnerships with done-for-you podcasts and content marketing. And you can learn more about what we do at Rise25.com. And in this episode, this is a special episode here today where we're going to be talking more reflectively about what we do as a company and specifically why we have set a goal of acquiring 1 to 2 podcast companies in the next year. And my guest, of course, Dr. Jeremy Weisz. Jeremy, we're going to be talking about this, and let's talk a little bit about what we're looking for, the types of companies that we are looking for, and who is a good fit. Let's start there.
Yeah, I know when we think of who's a good fit, we think of values first, right? And obviously, we're looking for something in and around the something related to the podcasting space. Now, that could mean a cold outreach. That could be social media. That could be something specifically in that's doing done for you podcasts. But values, we look at values, right? And so I don't know if you want to talk a little bit. We have a one of our we can't claim that we came up with it, but one of our team members, writers, came up with the acronym Give Back, and you can check it out on rise25.com/careers. But one of those is we would like values alignment with the company, and one of those is the give back is giving to others, generosity. Another big one for us is accepting responsibility. Another one is keep learning. Obviously we are in the podcasting space, so we want to keep continuing from professional and personal development. And there's others we can go on and on, but check them out on the careers page. So that's one, is a values alignment.
Absolutely. That's so important in order to ensure that there is good integration of the two companies after we've done the acquisition. So that's really important. We also want to know that we're acquiring a team that has been trained in systems and processes of some sort. We don't expect it to be perfect. And then also, there may be a founder who wants to stay on and wants to be part of a larger organization, our company, and help us to move forward together. And really become our goal, which is to become the number one B2B provider of podcasts for B2B companies. And there may be some founders who want to move on. They got something else that they want to do, and that's totally fine too. That's something that we would work out through the different conversations. But let's talk, Jeremy, about some of the different criteria of what we're looking for.
Yeah. I want to say too, on that front, if you know someone who's, send them our way. If it's someone who's looking to exit or sell their company, we're fine either way. And we've had people come to us who they just want to move on to something completely different. They started a new business, or they have received some traction in something, and they just want to move on, or they just want to go to a different industry, or they actually want to stay on and continue to work. So either way is fine. It's just we want to be clear with the person what's their preference and how would that work and play out. But the criteria obviously helps B2B companies is a big one. Like that's really who we're focused in on, is businesses, right? So that is a big criteria. Another one is a company's been in business for a little bit. We say greater than 2 years. Some of the companies we talk to, 3, 4, 5. John and I have each been podcasting and helping others in this for over a decade. And so we want someone who's been doing it for a little bit, not just started up 4 months ago and decides I'm going to do something else. So they've been doing it for a couple of years. What else?
Some of these companies, they might describe themselves as a podcast agency or a podcast producer, or something along those lines. There's different ways that these companies you may describe yourself. We don't generally use that term agency, but that's in many ways what we are. And then what about revenue range, Jeremy?
Yeah, so revenue ranges, it just depends on the company. We've explored companies anywhere from $75,000 a year in gross revenue up to $1.5 million a year in gross revenue. Everyone's going to have a little bit different EBITDA or profit there, but that's kind of the range we're looking at as far as the gross revenue range. And then also not too much client concentration. So not any one client that represents more than 40% of annual revenues, to make sure there's not too much client concentration. And then the other point that we will make is that we're open to companies that are adjacent to the work that we do. So we're open to companies that do things such as podcast guest book, just a podcast guest booking service, a podcast PR agencies, book writing services, podcast advertising agencies. There's a lot of different companies that are, I would say, adjacent to what we do, but that are very similar. Perhaps there could be good synergies between us. I think that's it. I mean, if you have questions, just reach out and email us. And there's going to be, I think if you are exploring this, you could just message through the contact form and just say, I'm interested in collaboration, possible acquisition with Rise25.
And thanks so much, everyone who's listening to this or watching this, for obliging us a little bit slightly different format of our normal episode. We'll be back to our regular programming in the next episode, I promise. Thanks so much and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Smart Business Revolution podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.